We moved to the Berkshires from New York City when I was 4 years old. We moved to Manhattan when I was 12. So I've lived in very rural, I've lived in very urban. And
very rural is a lot nicer.
yeah, I enjoy living in New York City, but it has its issues, and I can't do it long term. It's very frenetic. It's fun. You know, it's like there's always stuff going on, but
It's a great place to
it'll
visit,
wear
but
you out.
wouldn't want to live there. Is totally all about New York. But my
Yeah.
God, the food. Yeah.
So this one takes place in a little town in the Berkshires named Beckett. Beckett was a little industrial town in the hills. The granite for all the buildings, all the state buildings in Boston, came from Beckett. Went down a really wild rail line with these big chunks of granite down to Chester, where they squared them off and put them on the main line to Boston. There were mills that made baskets and cut wood and all kinds of different stuff. And that was all great until 1927. There was a day when there was 5 inches of rain in 36 hours, and the dam upriver was made of stone and timbers and mud, and it washed out.
Burst.
And the pictures from then of the town looked like a hurricane went through and just leveled the place. And they never really rebuilt. There were a few shops when I was a kid, and there's a lot of artists and folks, but it's never been an industrial town again. And the trains go by.
Yeah. But it does have the general store.
So this takes place in the center of every small community, the general store. At the general store you can get doghouse roses and cigarettes, rods and reels and fishing nets, movie rentals and snacks for pets. In this sleepy little town, in this sleepy little town, this old town the time forgot, with its winding roads and flower pots, neighbors who never lock their doors, but the trains don't stop here anymore. At the general store it all goes down, at the general store it all goes down, social hub of this small town, where the gossip goes around and policeman makes his daily rounds. This sleepy little town, in this sleepy little town, this old town the time forgot, with its winding roads and flower pots, neighbors who never lock their doors, but the trains don't stop here anymore. General store, you'll find it all. Snowshoes hanging from the wall. Gas your car, brakes for fall. What you need, though, it's no more. In this sleepy little town, in this sleepy little town, highway went by years ago. Factory moved to Mexico. Quarries closed and the motel too. Quiet settles like the morning dew. But the general store has closed its doors. Dust collects on creaking floors. Can't shop in this town no more, and we don't know what's in store. For this sleepy little town, for this sleepy little town, this old town the time forgot, with its winding roads and flower pots, neighbors who never lock their doors, but the trains don't won't stop here anymore. In this sleepy little town. The general store closed for about 10 years, then it reopened, then there were two, then there was one, then there were two, then there was one, then one of them moved around the corner, two different ends of town. But you do occasionally run into interesting characters at the general store there in Beckett. Faith was walking in one day, and this guy, she couldn't figure out who he was.
Very familiar-looking guy walking out, and I figured, well, I know him. I don't know why I know him. Maybe if I stare at him, he'll figure out who I am. And no, he just looked right through me as I walked through, and it wasn't until later that it occurred to me that, duh, no wonder he did. That was Arlo Guthrie. He doesn't know me from a hole in the wall.
Yeah. He lives up the street.
Yeah.
His daughter, Sarah Lee Guthrie, lives right up the
right around
street
the
now.
corner, yeah.
She and Johnny just built a house up there. So.
Yep.
But, yeah, they're just the locals. And my dad, on the way in, just said, hi,
Hi,
Arlo,
Arlo.
because they've known each other
Yeah.
probably for 50 years at that point. My dad ran hardware stores in the Berkshires, and Arlo would come in all the time to ask, how to do one thing or another and buy stuff.
And his dad said to me afterwards, well, didn't you hear me say hi, Arlo, when I walked in? I said, no. And his wife went, oh, my God, that was Arlo Guthrie. Why didn't you tell me?
Because it was Arlo.
Yeah.